going to unbox and take a quick look at Pacific War 1942 Solitaire. Yes, another Solitaire game from Worthington Games. They have their Great Siege series, which are very nice, well done, high production value Solitaire games. Some games that also based on the Victory Point games series of States of Sieges. They also have their war game books or book games that were Solitaire, and then they've actually that were made during COVID, and they eventually came back with box versions of several of those. Again, all Solitaire. Some of those they made into two-player, but generally at the heart they're Solitaire games. And yet we have another offering here. We have Solitaire, Pacific War Solitaire. Now I covered earlier this week War of 1812 Solitaire. So we got a chance to see that. I'll put a link to that in the description down below. But this is not that. This is Pacific War. And I imagine it's going to have similar gameplay, similar components, yet it's dealing with the Pacific War in 1942 as opposed to 1812. Let's get inside. Before I do that, before I rip off the shrink, let's see what the back says on this. It says that the Japanese advances during World War II nearly succeeded. Had they occupied Hawaii, Australia, India, all of China, the war would have ended differently. Yeah, I imagine that would have been different. The advances came close, only to be stopped and pushed back. Pacific War 1942 Solitaire is a game about those advances. You take the role of the Allies against the autonomous Japanese player referred to as the bot. This is a little bit different. In 1812, you're the Americans going against the British, and you're pushing back, trying to capture a couple of key locations in Canada. Around the Great Lakes. This, I imagine, is going to be a little bit different, where you're the Americans, but you're kind of pushing back the Japanese advance. So they're the ones that are more on the aggressive. I think that sounds to me that's the way it should work, and that's what I've seen with other games. There's a great game called We Must Tell the Emperor that is from Victory Point Games, and I have the original Victory Point version. I don't know if Worthington's going to get a hold of that and reprint that, but I would love playing that game. And it's pretty high dollar because it was so beloved. So let's see what we have here. We have the small box here. Let's do this. Straighten her out right here. And then we'll crack into the components, which I must say meet the high standard that Worthington sets for its components. These are the player aid boards, very thick, very nice. This is the American board, or the Allied board, I should say, because you have more than just the Americans in here. You have the British and others, trying to stave off the Japanese advance. You have your sequence of play. You have your advance results, Europe, ship battle results, action points. You have 2 action points. You have turns 1 through 8 action points and turns 9 through 20. So this is going to kind of hardwire in the ramp up of the Allies' production and move into the Pacific theater. Early on, the Japanese kind of had the advantage, and that changed after the United States predominantly ramped up their production and got to work in the Pacific. So nice board there. Then you're going to have, this is the Japanese board, where you're going to be rolling dice and determining what their actions are. You have odd and even turns, determining what they do. So very nice there. Here are the rules. The rules are not complicated. You got like 12, you got one page, two-sided, that has 12 panels of rules, but actually panels 9 is key concepts. Sorry about that. Get a little bit of glare there too. And then 10, 11, and 12 are the history or the context of what you're playing. So you really only have 7.5 pages of actual rules that you need to know, and they're not very big pages. Kind of hate these folds sometimes. You get a little lost trying to figure out where you're at. But here are the rules. So really about 7.5 pages there. And these rules, I imagine, are very similar in the mechanisms to the War of 1812. So query whether they come up with a whole series. You know, are these just the first two? Or are these the only two? Or what are they going to do? Here are your counters. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 counters. They have a plug and then a kind of a proof of purchase counter there. They are double-sided, and the best I can tell, this looks kind of like a States of Siege type game where you have a track and you're trying to roll dice and push up on that track, or use action points to move up on that track, or to push back on that track, I guess might be in the case here. Nice, very, very nice mounted boards. You have art on the back here. I should say mounted boards. I'm talking about 1812 as well. Both of them have art on the back, and then you have the game on the front. And as you can see here, you kind of have these tracks here. This looks very much like a States of Siege, and it actually looks a little bit like We Must Tell the Emperor. I don't think this is that game, but it might have at least been inspired by it. So here you have your turn tracks, and then you have these tracks where these counters are going to be on and showing the location, how far the Japanese advance or how far you push them back on there, and the like. And you actually get into China as well. So you've got a kind of an India front here, a China front, and then a Japan, or two Japan fronts, one up through the Central Pacific and one through the Southwest front that you have there. So very interesting. This looks very cool. I like the looks of this. I think I'm going to like playing this. What more can I say about this? And I want to thank Grant from Worthington Games for sending this to me. I need to cover more of his games. I do quite a few unboxing. I've done a few reviews, but and I've done a handful of after-action ones. I really need to do a lot of after-action reviews, so you get my impression of these games. I can tell you right now, I mean, the quality is some of the best in the biz, and the gameplay is very easy. That Worthington kind of errs on the side of having easy entry to their games. But yet, there are still decisions, there are still context, you still can learn from these, you can still enjoy these, there's still a game there. What more can you ask for? Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Thanks so much for stopping by. Greatly appreciate it. Take care. Thanks for watching.